When it comes to 1-year-old Mariah Cartavius, you are not.
Space, a final frontier. It's 5 years.
Shall we begin? Let's begin.
Hello and welcome to Now Trending for January 22nd. Joy and I are arguing over who should start the show today.
You started today. No, you start.
Well, we are down one man. Drew is not with us today, but we got Chris filling in on the board for us. So, way to go, Chris. Thanks for stepping up.
I'm about to jump off.
Don't jump, please. And Joy has been working on some videos, so
I am.
Guess I'm the one who's prepared right now.
Yes,
to get us started.
I'm
very
prepared.
much.
We're here.
I feel like we're the car, but we're driving on 3 wheels.
Something like that. Anyhow,
We'll make it to the service station soon.
Well, welcome to Now Trending. Like I said, today is January 22nd. Our USA is back open for business.
Ding, ding, ding.
Government shutdown has ended as of just a couple hours ago. We got the breaking news. So, yeah, I don't know. Did it really affect any of you that the government was shut down?
I still had to go to work.
Yeah, still had our responsibilities.
Still had to pay taxes.
True.
Still had to obey the law.
I was working at some parks this weekend, and I wasn't sure if they would be open or not with the government shutdown.
And what did you find?
Nothing.
Nothing as of no people working, or
I mean, nothing was
no
out of
changes?
the ordinary. I guess they weren't like national parks. So.
Right. It had to do with there was descriptions in different people from parks and services, like some if you had to be there, or it was situations like that. But then lots of them also weren't, didn't have to go to work, but they didn't get paid either.
True. And I think the Trump administration said that they wanted to do their best to keep the national parks open, where other times that the government has shut down, that was kind of the first thing to go, was the national parks.
That's terrible.
Why not? When everything's shut down, go to the park.
I mean, you may have tourists that are in those cities for the first time that want to go to see those things, and because liberals can't decide on protecting 800,000 illegals or signing this stuff to keep the government open, other people have to suffer for it.
Right, and you're absolutely right. That was one hit was that they were worried about. On our Twitter page, Siobhan had posted a really good article that kind of went through everything that would be affected, or any department that would be affected. And tourism was actually one of the things on the list. Because you think about how many people do come here and plan for vacations. And then imagine you do come here and all of these parks are shut down.
Right.
You can't do the things that you plan to do or put money aside for.
And all these people who are still getting paid, even though they're not working, can't come to an agreement to keep everything open.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Well, and then there's parks, that are not just a day's visit, or, that you just plan to visit for a day, like the Grand Canyon or Yosemite or something. That's that's a serious trip.
Yellowstone.
Yeah, I was just thinking Yellowstone. That was another one. I'd love to go to Yellowstone.
Hoover
Anyone
Dam.
here ever been
Come
to
on,
Yellowstone?
the Hoover Dam. It's part of like a Vegas trip. You would go to Hoover Dam, and that's closed because of the Schumer shutdown. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
I've driven through part of Yellowstone, but...
Like through which state, though? Yellowstone is in 4 states.
Through Wyoming.
I'm sure it's gorgeous.
It's in 4 states. But I think that's what maybe attracts me so much. Has anybody ever been to Mount Rushmore?
No.
Not yet. It's on my bucket list.
You would just think by now those are trips that maybe we should have taken. Like, are those trips that we should have taken by our age, or...
I wish I had visited the Grand Canyon and probably Mount Rushmore by now, but as far as Yosemite or Yellowstone, I mean, sure.
You've never been to the Grand Canyon?
No.
Have you ever been?
Flown over it?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I have. I've been, though, to Waimea Canyon, which is the Grand Canyon of Hawaii, of the Pacific.
Oh, yes.
So I've been to Waimea Canyon.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It was close. It looks very similar, but I mean, it's just obviously not as big. Yeah, but it's lots of canyon. It's very beautiful.
Right.
So what brought us to opening the government back up today? Who's given up what?
The Dems have blinked.
The Democrats have blinked, as Chris said. That is true.
I'll let you take it, Siobhan.
Well, if you read this Time article, it says the shutdown ended because Democrats lost their spine.
So the spine they never had.
I guess that's another way to say it.
Did they really think, though, that they could, like, President Trump would back down? Do they really think that he would have been That they really could have, like, passed his wall, per se?
The only one who has power to veto anything is the president. So I'm not. If I were him, I wouldn't be concerned at what Schumer's trying to do because he can't do it. He obviously it's right there. He caved. He blinked. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they're worried about those 800,000 votes that they'll get by protecting those illegals.
And this was a pretty fast shutdown because our last shutdown lasted for a while.
Yeah, this was only 3 days. And the Democrats believe that Mitch McConnell has promised that they will work on an immigration overhaul in the coming weeks. And it's just a verbal promise. Nothing is written down in stone. So I guess we'll see if he comes through for the Democrats.
But 2 of the 3 days were the weekend, and they don't work anyway. So, you know, it really wasn't. And the president didn't come down to Mar-a-Lago. He stayed in D.C. Obama would have went to, Hawaii for the weekend on the taxpayer dime. You know, while the government shut down. He'll go play golf, you know. But Trump stayed in D.C.
Why do people always throw stuff like that in? Like, why?
Because it's not his problem.
But you don't like it, though, when people make jokes about our President Trump now
Drew's
going to Mar-a-Lago.
Not here.
He's like... But it's just being hypocritical, though. We don't like people saying the same thing about Trump, but then we'll go ahead and say the same thing, about Obama.
Well, we're talking about this particular shutdown that lasted 3 days, and 1 day of business was really affected. Mm-hmm. I mean, the weekend, it was affected because, tourism and all those things. But as far as the government working on things, they don't work on things anyway, but they especially don't work on the weekends.
Yeah. So, has anyone checked Trump's Twitter feed since this all ended? I was going to say I haven't
seen anything on CNN as far as Trump tweets. So he might have been actually working on things. Might have had the phone across the room in the office.
Yeah. So
see, that's how I'm learning to be.
Joy's looking it up right now to see if the president has responded on his Twitter feed, which kind of brings me to another point. This Saturday was 1 year of Trump being in office, and I was trying to just find the numbers because I like to look at the numbers. I don't want to read a commentary about why you love Trump or why you hate Trump. But so I just wanted to see some of the numbers, and it breaks it down that, as far as, especially with the economy, Trump has done a lot, and the economy is stronger than it's been since Franklin Roosevelt, not Teddy. But but that his Twitter tirades have really hurt him and kind of overshadowed any good that he has done. Do you agree? Do you think he should keep on tweeting, or maybe he should lay off Twitter a little bit?
Well, he has this morning. I'm just updating right now. He hasn't tweeted in 6 hours.
Okay,
so the news release came out only a couple hours about the government opening up. So 6 hours ago, he tweeted, "End the Democrats' obstruction." Mm-hmm. That was his tweet this morning.
And they did.
The President George W. Bush was the last president to use the weekly radio address. Obama was the first one to use the internet to do the weekly address. Mm-hmm. President Trump's the first one to use Twitter. Mm-hmm. Let's say he's not using it properly, or he's not using the proper verbiage and things like that.
His delivery.
His delivery is a little bit off. I don't mind it because I'm not offended by what people say, like CNN is. But he's using an outlet where he's reaching many, many people.
And here's the thing: that's the outlet of today. That's what we have to understand, and older generations have to understand. Like I said, I've been going on about my mass communications class that I've been taking. Mm-hmm. I feel old-fashioned. It's to a point, though. Twitter is...
Are you serious?
Serious as a heart attack. Chris is going to have fun with controls today.
I'm actually trying to use another one that won't sound.
It's great. Chris loves to push buttons.
Oh, boy, do I ever.
Right? No, so... Yeah, you do. But you know what? It is... People have to accept it, and it has nothing to do with his presidency, in my opinion, when it comes to using Twitter to getting messages across, only because that actually is one of the biggest forms of media today, media and broadcasting. So he's broadcasting his messages again. He could work on his delivery. However, I don't see an issue anymore with the Twitter. Well, with Twitter, not the Twitter.
The Twitter. No, but you know what? It's like actions speak louder than words. I could care less what words he uses. I'm basing my support for him on his actions. And when he says he's going to do something, he does it. And that's it. I'm going by his agenda, and he's been checking things off that agenda since he took office, since we're celebrating the year. Mm-hmm. You know, the economy's rolling. Mm-hmm. Jobs are up. Mm-hmm. He went after ISIS. He dealt them a significant blow over the last year or so. And, you know, they got to work out these things within Congress. And the Dems have to stop, you know, getting in his way or getting in the way of business.
So,
you know?
Just some of these numbers that I was talking about, comparing them to the previous 5 presidents before him, that would be Reagan through Obama. Trump has signed 108 bills into law, and that is lower than any of the other presidents, with Obama right behind him at 125, and the most being from George H.W. at 240.
Whoa!
And then trips abroad. Who do you think from Reagan to Trump, who has taken the least amount of trips abroad? Yes.
Obama.
In their first year. This is just looking at their first year.
I thought it was the whole entire presidency.
No.
I'll still stick with Obama.
No. Joy, do you have a guess?
Say it again.
Who of the previous 5 presidents before Trump, that would be Reagan through Obama, took the fewest amount of trips abroad? Do you think it's Trump or someone else?
H.W.
Either H.W. Did Clinton travel a lot, though?
It's Clinton. He took 3 trips abroad in his first year.
Oh, see?
And then Trump and Reagan both took 4, with Obama leading the way with 10.
I'm pretty good. I know my stuff.
He had to go see his buddies in the Middle East.
And then as far as executive orders in their first year, the least amount was H.W. with 33, and the most is Clinton with 59, but Trump is right behind him at 57 executive orders in the first year. So given all of these things that we were just saying that President Trump has accomplished and that his tweets kind of overshadow any good he may be doing, he has lost the most approval points in his first year. He's down 18%, while H.W. was up 49% in his first year in office. So I think given that, you know, the numbers kind of speak for themselves, they back up that he has done good for the country, and yet he's down 18 percentage points in approval. So do with that what you will. Yeah. So any thoughts on that?
Go ahead, Chris.
No, I'm just saying I very rarely look at polls and percentages, because that's based on 5,000 people, 10,000 people. They're not going to speak for an entire nation of people. If they had people vote on every one of these polls and everybody got a vote, they would be drastically different on a lot of them.
Right.
So I look at the situations that he has to deal with, and the morons that he has to deal with in Congress. And there's some on both sides.
Right.
It's not just the Dems.
They're all people. So given that we just celebrated, or some might not want to celebrate 1 year of Trump in office, but we just observed 1 year of Trump in office this weekend. It also ushered in 1 year since the Women's March, and that happened again this weekend. Also on Saturday, there were women's marches once again all over the country. Yeah. Joy, did you participate in a women's march?
No, I wanted to.
Oh, you did?
No.
Did they have one in Miami? I didn't see any news about
Last year it was so... Okay, last year when
the Star Wars theme for the women's march?
Right.
The Imperial March.
Okay.
No, but last year when the election was going on, it was more broadcasted. It was widely publicized because women, were really going after Trump at that point. So they were having them in every city, and they publicized it in every city. Mm-hmm. And I actually didn't find out about the march until like 2 days before the march up in Washington. I didn't hear anything. I actually thought I saw something that it was supposed to be in March.
You saw March and thought it was the month?
Yeah, no, not that. No, not that. I thought it was a women's march, but you know what? For some reason, I actually thought that it took place in March.
Oh, okay. They might have had one in March also. I don't know. But
there may be one coming. But then honestly, there wasn't as much, media about it this year as there was last year.
The only reason, I kind of heard a little bit about it, and then I saw some of my friends who participated, some of their pictures. But it kind of got me thinking with all that's been happening lately with the whole Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement. Do you think that the Women's March last year had anything to do with the Me Too movement of the end of 2017, or are they kind of separate? And I'm surprised too that the march wasn't more widely publicized with the whole Me Too movement going on.
I think Me Too had a big start in the beginning, and now I think people are sifting. I think there's some people that are like any movement. There's some people who actually may be kind of confused and they take advantage or they take part or they try to use Me Too in the wrong way.
Okay.
So I think that people are trying to look between the lines to see okay, is this person really someone who has been affected by either, sexual advances or, sexual misconduct, or is it just someone who went out on a bad date, doesn't like a guy, like what happened with what's the Indian actor that just happened over the weekend.
Oh, there's so many that keep popping up. I can't keep
There
track.
are, but everybody in the media has actually gone up for this actor, saying that in this girl's case, this has nothing to do with Me Too. This just has a case that she was on a bad date, she didn't like him, and that was it. So attorneys, everybody has actually gotten on the television and actually have gone off on this girl. So I just think that it's I think that now it's just the vision for it is just kind of blurred.
Got it. Yeah, maybe.
It started off strong, remember? I thought it was going to be much stronger. But I just feel it's kind of just gotten blurry.
True. So, I don't know. We'll see kind of how things progress or digress from here.
I know. I wanted to progress, though. I just feel that, just people are so iffy. And then it's a very controversial topic. Chris, what do you have to say?
It is a controversial topic, and it all goes back to the gender battle because someone on one side or the other is going to claim gender bias, and it's all this, and it's going to set everybody back 50 years, and it's ridiculous. It's about, wages and respect, and women aren't sex objects and things like that. Back in the day, that's what it was all about, and I don't know why it was like that, but little by little, it got better, and now it seems like now we need these protests and these marches and all these things, and social media, camera out, everything's happening.
Do you feel any type of way about women equality?
I wish,
as far as pay, as far as
I wish it was closer. In numbers, I wish it was fairer for that for women to make as much or more as men in their field, especially based on expertise and experience and how long you've been doing it and things like that. It shouldn't matter what your gender is. If you're good at what you do, you should be making the same amount of money as another colleague.
Right, so you don't feel threatened. You don't feel like women are going to come out and take all your jobs.
If they can earn the jobs, that's different. If they deserve to have those jobs.
Right, just as a man, as a man, they have to do the same amount of work, though.
I should do my part as a man to keep my, my stature in my job and do what I do to, make money and everything like that. I'm no better. I'm not above or below any female.
Right, but you're not sitting there panicking in a corner that a bunch of women are going to take over the world. And you're really going to be the minority when it comes to
if the Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, then yes, I'm worried. If Hillary Clinton, yes, I'm worried. If it's Joy and Siobhan, I'm not worried.
Hey, what are you saying?
I'm offended
because I think you'll do well.
Oh, okay.
I think those other two knuckleheads will turn it around and ruin everything, and set your gender back 100 years, back to the caveman days. You know what I mean? Where you got clubbed over the head and dragged off by your hair. For everything, you just stay home and cook. That's not where it's not where women should be these days, especially the ones who work hard.
Okay. So, Joy, do you have any other breaking news? I know you said you wanted to talk about Tom Petty.
I did, because we found out over the weekend that unfortunately Tom Petty did pass away of a massive drug overdose.
Accidental overdose.
Yes, accidental overdose. Either way, it's an overdose.
Yeah.
I still love him, but again, At some point, no. At some point, it is opioids. He was in pain. He was doing concerts. He said, it was in reports. He was doing concerts just after having like hip surgery. And he's trying to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just saw the headline. I didn't read the actual story. Do you know what drugs were responsible for the overdose? No. Did they say? No.
Any of the articles I did, because I read it when it was first breaking, and it just said that he died of an accidental massive...
I remember reading about Glenn Fry when he passed away, and it was said that his arthritis medication killed him.
Well, but it's happening to a lot of people. It
actually weakens your system. It really does. Look at these people who have to take pills every day. Mm-hmm. Look at how frail and their frame and their overall posture and all that stuff. It's like the drugs are just eating away at their bones and their frame, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And this one attacked his respiratory system.
Well, I'm reading
circulatory
an article from the Independent Journal Review that says, in a statement, Petty's family said he had been using a variety of medications, including the opioid pain medication fentanyl, which is 80 times as potent as morphine. So that is a drug that is responsible for a lot of deaths and accidental overdoses because it is so powerful.
But that's just it. Even now, people are using fentanyl not only for pain, but they're mixing it with cocaine. It's a drug that is taking over our streets, but it's killing people. I can't tell you guys how many people that I have known that passed away last year, just in this past year alone, in the past 365 days. People my age, people I used to hang out with, people, I no longer associate with these people. However, on Facebook, every other day, it's just somebody else. And I'm talking like people between 35 and up, even younger. I see even younger people. And they just don't realize that the stuff that's put in drugs today is just garbage and it is killing you. And I just don't see how you can't be to the point at this point where you can see that this stuff is actually killing you.
Mm-hmm.
And you just continue. Not in Tom Petty's case. He's not like doing it with coke. Well, I don't know.
I don't know what he was doing.
We don't know what he was doing. But just in the case of the way it is being mixed today in this country, it is just killing off people. So, so do you still continue to take it? Like, I just risk? I don't get it. I don't understand it.
You believe what your doctor tells you that you need certain things, and you okay.
But fentanyl, I wonder if he was prescribed the fentanyl, or because fentanyl, they say that I thought they don't even prescribe it in this country anymore.
Was that the stuff that killed Michael Jackson?
No,
that was propofol or whatever it's called?
Yeah, that was propofol. Yeah.
All right. See, nobody knows these drugs one thing from another. They don't. And kids just try anything. They're eating Tide Pods, for God's sake.
What is this about?
We can get into that later. That was actually one thing I wanted to talk about in Metal's Minute later on. But it's kids are really stupid these days. They're really dumbed down by this technology, by the tablets and the phones, the apps, the social media and everything, that they'll try any designer thing that was put in front of them. Like when we were kids, it was different. It was actual physical drugs, or it was cigarettes, or it was beer. Mm-hmm. We just tried it because we saw our parents drinking, we saw family.
But we didn't try to make up new things. We didn't try to make up new stuff like eating Tide Pods.
No, because that stuff that we saw them doing was guaranteed.
Yeah.
You got high, you got drunk, you smoked, or whatever it was. These new things, it's like, I don't understand. I'm so glad I don't have kids, and I'm so glad I'm not a kid growing up in this generation. I'm really not, because of these idiotic things that kids are doing these days.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could watch the epic fails on YouTube and on Facebook, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Trying failed science projects in their home, sticking a fork in a toaster just to see what'll happen. Just film it so we can watch it. Seriously, you know what I mean? Please. We don't want these kids running the country.
Oh,
geez. We don't.
Well, where are their parents? Where are, I don't know. These are things I was trying to think of yesterday. My kids certainly, thank God, knock on wood, my kids didn't go through this
stupid period.
Yeah, they've been around enough to see these stupid challenges and stuff like that. But, to actually do them, my kids are always like, are these kids stupid? Or, at least they think of me in that way. They think like me in that way. Mm-hmm. Because they see how I see it. It's not like the cool thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
But then there's a bunch of kids that are like, hey, what would make you want... Okay, you said we're going to talk about Tide Pods later, right?
We got time. We can touch on it now. It's fine.
No, if you were going to talk about that in Metal's Minute.
I wasn't. It was going to be open for discussion, but we're on the subject of kids doing stupid things, and that's what's in the news, in the headlines right now. So I have no problem talking about it with you right now on the panel.
Siobhan, what do you have? How much longer do we have? I'm out of control today.
We have 5 minutes till we need to take a break.
Yeah, I'm producing. We got 5 minutes. I'm watching the time.
Okay, so we'll end with this because later on I want to talk politics in the workplace. I was saying before, we got off of politics and I was going to talk about it then.
We're going to touch back on it later.
But again, I'm just sitting in the passenger seat today, guys.
We have workplace topics coming up, which can transition into your politics in the workplace.
Yes.
Anywho, what were you going to say? You were going to ask me about kids being stupid or what?
I don't know. Should we go ahead and take a break?
No, let's talk about kids being stupid.
Well, I was going to say, with that, how about we have a question? How about who's most likely to?
We have 5 minutes, dear. 4 now.
We still got plenty. I can't.
Joy wants to jump into the game.
But somebody's sitting in the back seat. She's running the show.
Like my dad
in the back seat.
She's changing things up.
And every time when I was a kid, always I'd sit in the back seat. Like my dad would pick me up and we'd go somewhere. You know, as a kid, you always say turn here or this, that. But he'd always be like, "Do you have your backseat driver's license? Do you got your backseat driver's license?" So with that.
Okay, tell us
out of
your joke.
The three of us.
Our game.
God.
Who would lose their keys while driving?
Lose your keys while driving? How's that happen?
Okay, my car has
Chris Metal would lose his keys while driving.
My car has a push button start, so my keys are normally in my pocket or in my backpack.
I have actual old-fashioned type keys, so I would not lose my keys.
There's no way Siobhan's going to win.
I just go with Chris. I say Chris. My vote's Chris.
2 against none.
I would have voted for you, Joy. So, Chris, you're the tiebreaker. You or Joy?
It'd be one of us. Probably her.
All right, Joy, you get a card
she's
for
the
that
one with the
I
suitcase.
hate that thing. Okay, I hate that. I hate these fob things. Now, how long have you had a fob? End the conversation. We have 3 more minutes.
2014, I got this car,
today.
and it was the first time I had a keyless starter.
Did it take you a while to get used to this keyless starting system?
Yes.
Great.
Because you push the button to unlock the door.
Right.
So you open the door, you get in. Normally you're ready to put a key in the ignition somewhere.
Right.
Except there's no ignition. There's a button.
Mm-hmm.
So you push the brake pedal, push the button, the car starts, and you go.
So what do you do with the fob?
I usually put it in the console.
Uh-huh.
And if there's nobody riding shotgun, it's usually sitting on the seat with my phone and, my backpack or whatever I have. Because if there's nobody riding in me, then that seat becomes, my console. The whole thing.
It's just so easy to get lost, though. I hate it.
Unless I'm going off-roading, it's really not going to move from the seat.
Right.
Because I'm not going to go over any crazy bumps and bouncing around, so it's not going to move.
Now, wasn't it you who told me, though, that you've driven off or someone had your fob and you drove off?
Yes, I believe.
Was that you, Chris?
Yeah.
You drove off and someone had your fob and they had to come back?
No, the car still worked.
Right, it'll work.
But once you shut it off, that's it.
On.
Game over.
Yeah.
You got to get that fob back. So,
right.
It's designed to, keep going until, you stop it.
But imagine you drive somewhere, you turn off the car, and then, you're telling someone your issue, like, hey, I'm here, but I
can't turn my car
off. But I left
off.
my keys at home.
You better turn around and drive home and get them.
Yeah, you better.
Just think of how people will look at you. Well, how did you get here if you left your keys at home?
It's a long story.
Well, people know now. They understand it.
I don't like it still. And then it's just, they don't work well, with the keychain, with the, I don't know. It's just.
You're so old school.
I am. I'm learning.
So I think you would actually lose the keys because you would put them in your suitcase or in your backpack or in your purse, and you would look through everything.
Where is it?
And wherever it was in the last place you're going to check.
It is. Where's your fob at right now?
In my backpack right over there on the chair.
Mine's exactly where you said it'd be. It's either in my purse or
you don't even know where it is.
It's at the bottom of somewhere. I know where my spare is. I know that's in my purse.
Oh, geez.
Amazing.
Well, that's good that you have a spare with you, I guess.
Okay.
Siobhan, you going to take us to break?
Yeah, let's take a break. Go for it, Chris.
I'm shotgunning today.
Yeah, so we'll be back right after this.
Friday, Sunday, Saturday.
Join me, Siobhan, every week for Day by Day podcast.
It's there.
From Alzheimer's Awareness Month to International Bacon Day, find out what's happening this week and how these observances got started. Check out the show on Facebook or Twitter at Day by Day Podcast, because each day counts.
Day by day, by day.
We are back. Thanks for keeping the studio running, though, Chris.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
Awesome.
What's up, Drew?
Yeah, shout out to Drew. Hope you can join us.
Hurry back.
Hope you can join us next week. He had a sick child to contend with. So.
Yes, hope everybody feels better.
Yes, and keep them away from us until they do.
Amen. Amen.
Sorry if that's a little mean, but I need to stay healthy. Right?
Yeah, I just don't have time to get sick right now.
No, thank you.
Right?
Nope. No getting sick for me.
No, thank you, please.
So we are back here on Now Trending Live. You can follow us on Facebook or Twitter at Now Trending Live. And Joy, hey, what's the status with our website?
It's coming along.
Okay.
Still. Hopefully by next week. It's been me. I think I just fell behind on some things this week.
Okay.
And then there were some decisions that were sent to, like, there was stuff that I was supposed to decide upon that I didn't know was sent to me, like, through email, and then I just checked the other day, and everything was sent, and so it is me.
Okay.
Hopefully by next week.
So we have a website under construction.
We do have a website under construction.
You will be able to visit us at nowtrending.com or nowtrendingradio.com.
Yes.
Nowtrendingradio.com.
That is true.
Yes. So
Write it down, kids.
yes, and visit early and visit often or something like that. Right? Okay. So also in news, we have here in Miami been chosen as one of the 20 finalists for the new Amazon HQ2. Are we excited about this, boys and girls? No, Chris is not. Joy, how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm not, where are we going to put it, first of all?
Okay.
If it was Rumor Miami, where the hell are we going to put this thing? We're always trying to build something huge, spectacular. We don't have the room here.
This is going to be the Marlins Park thing all over again.
Uh-oh.
Amazon headquarters is humongous.
Yes.
There's living facilities.
Yes.
There's educational facilities.
So it's expected to bring in 50,000 new jobs. And according to one report I heard on television, they said the average Amazon employee the average Amazon income is $100K. So Joy's looking pretty good.
Lies. No, they give you good benefits.
You're in that below average.
Yeah, I'm in the below average group. And then they try to weigh everything out with benefits. They try to make everything look spectacular, and they try to make you feel valued with benefits, health benefits, which are great. Health benefits are great.
That's always a plus.
However, on the income end, I just feel personally that they could squeeze it up a little.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I remember he's given $33 million, Jeff Bezos, when I say him, who's the owner of Amazon, just donated $33 million to illegal...
Illegal defense fund? Is that what you're trying to...
No, to the students, to the illegal students who are trying to stay here, all part of DACA.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. To the dreamers.
Yes, to the dreamers.
Gotcha.
So he did. He donated $33 million in scholarships.
Okay. So just a little bit more, because I know Joy she wants to talk about politics in the workplace, which we will get to. But just before we move on from the new HQ2, it is expected to cost at least $5 billion. And as, like I said, create up to 50,000 high-paying jobs. It says high-paying jobs.
Well, because it's corporate, so yeah,
Yeah. And they say that, whatever city is chosen will, see a boom in their economy as far as housing prices will go up. So if you're a homeowner, that's good news for you. If you're a renter or looking to buy, that may not be such good news for you.
Except for in a place down here, sorry to cut you off. The prices of property are already high. I think they're highly overrated.
But they will still go up if this
I will be out.
facility comes here. It's...
back to the first question, where are you going to build it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where's it going to be structurally sound in this kind of soil, in this kind of, area? It's going to be out in the swamp somewhere where there's
lots
an
of room
open
in the
area
Everglades.
where the Miami Herald, there's not enough space where the Miami Herald used to be, because that's where, these investors wanted to build a casino 5 or 6 years ago.
Right.
And it's probably big enough for a casino, but for something that's, however many tens of thousands of square feet and 50,000 jobs and all that stuff, the in and outs, the traffic, the roads to get there, it'd be a giant cluster F. And I really don't think they're going to decide on Miami.
Well,
I don't think Miami would.
Think it's crowded here. Think like Boston and New York are also on those lists. They have zero room. They have even less room available than we have here in the Miami area.
Right, but how much of that land, like those old buildings and all that stuff, there are plenty of areas where there's nothing going on. It's just empty lots or just lots
in New York?
In other cities is what I'm saying.
No, in other cities and states that have applied.
Well,
I think they're just using the big names like Miami, New York, to just throw in there to make it look exciting, because they're really not going to choose one of us. Which I just don't think it's wise for them.
You just want to get the crowd going. You know what I mean? Get everybody
I
talking.
think it keeps everybody interested, because you need to mention those big city names.
Right.
Lots of controversy has been caused over this issue because lots of cities are offering lots of their assets to Amazon. However, they're not telling their citizens. It's all confidential.
So what are some of the downfalls if it comes to a city near you? What do you think?
Well, for us, like you said, first of all, I think property value right now is already overrated in South Florida. It's not worth what it's at now. So could you imagine bringing this in? You still have the crime, more people here now. No, please not Miami.
I think from one of the reports I read, it said Miami is one of the less likely cities to be chosen. And, we'll see. I don't know.
We have 2 fulfillment centers down here now, but as far as corporate headquarters, no. Think about this. I mean, their main corporate headquarters right now is in Washington, is in Seattle. Mm-hmm. So it's not like a metropolitan. I mean, Seattle's big, yes, but it's not like metropolitan New York or Miami, stuff like that. So I mean, they're going to look for somewhere where there's room, and I'm sure they're going to get nice tax breaks.
Yeah, it's going to be somewhere else, easily. will not be here.
We could start a pool and see who wins the.
What are some of the cities on there besides? I mean, the big ones.
Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, Columbus, Ohio. Those are actually the three.
I could see it in Columbus.
Those are actually the three that have the most to gain by having the new headquarters located there. Of course, New York, Los Angeles, Boston, Philly, and Pittsburgh, both. A lot of, I think they said like 7 of the options were in the Boston, New York, Washington, D.C. corridor in that general area there. So that's, maybe
I think
a high
it'll be
likelihood.
up there or Columbus.
Well, I think definitely the East Coast is would be one of the strong suits since they already have a presence on the West Coast. So LA is probably out of the running because of that. I think Austin was one of the places on the list.
Are you serious?
Austin's not good. The only huge benefit that I am going for an East Coast location is because they have started Amazon Studios now.
Where?
That's in California and also a branch off of Washington. So again, in Seattle's where our main headquarters is. Mm-hmm. However, Amazon is one of the largest growing media production companies right now. Mm-hmm. So they even have like their own type of Netflix.
I know. I saw it. It popped up on my Apple TV the other day.
Right. So now you have like your Amazon television. However, lots of the shows they're actually producing themselves in their own studios. So again, that's why I keep my foot stuck in with that company.
Smart.
Just because in the future, I wouldn't mind having a job with Amazon, productions.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I just don't want to go to California right now. Like I said, right now they're heavily based out of California when it comes to the studios, but they would do lots more media also as well wherever they put this new headquarters. So that's why I think we need more outlets, media, as far as media production outlets on the East Coast, because most of them are all out west.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
I found a positive.
Good. Bring it to Miami just for joy.
Yeah, not to Miami. We could just we can up the seaboard somewhere.
Oh,
not to Miami.
Well, so what did you want to say about politics in the workplace? You had mentioned he gave some money to the Dreamers.
Right. Yeah. As it's been widely publicized all over the media that he did, Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, did go ahead and donate $33 billion to the Dreamers. However, so I came to work a few days later and my email was just filled with political propaganda. And I don't want to see it in the workplace.
Is it like encouraging you to also donate to the same cause?
Yes.
Aha.
And you don't want to go into work. How about, even if I am on the same side or if I'm not, if I have a different opinion, I just don't want to go to work and see my work email filled with political propaganda. I'm not allowed to send jokes to my work email. I can't send anything. It's strictly for work only.
Yeah.
So I think that should be left out of the workplace. I'm not offended by many things, but I was offended by that. Can I just be left alone at work?
True.
Yeah, you go there to do a job. You're not there to give your opinion about things. You're not paid to care. In other words, it shouldn't have things shoved down your throat that you don't need necessarily.
No, and even if I don't agree with it, it just I feel like it would upset me more. Because again, I don't see the same view.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see it, period.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
That's how it should be.
But what if it seems as though we're starting to come to a point where even your employment is based off of your political view. Like, that's how intense politics has actually gotten. Do you guys see this in the future? What if you walk into your job and they're asking you what's your political status?
They can't ask that.
They can't.
Right.
Just like they can't ask you about your orientation either. Because that shouldn't factor into you getting a job.
Well, California has a new law where they can't even ask about your prior salary.
Interesting.
So, yeah, which I kind of see the pros and the cons of that, But anyway, I was surprised that was one of the 900 laws that went into effect in California this year.
Right?
They lead the league in new laws?
I think so. California has always got so many laws. Yeah. Some are good, though. Some are good.
Some are really good, yeah.
This is a long boo. You can stop it. There you go.
No, I know I can stop it.
I could.
But it's an extra long list of laws, so I had to go long
I got you.
on the boo. You get,
Okay, so breaking news this morning. Terror concerns prompt stricter TSA scrutiny of air cargo from 5 mostly Muslim countries. Did you guys hear about this? I did not, and it just popped up on my iPad this morning. I thought it was interesting. So, this is all based on intelligence that has been received, growing concerns about terrorists getting a bomb onto a plane headed for the United States, prompted an emergency order requiring stricter scrutiny of air cargo by TSA Administrator David Pekoski. Am I saying that right? Effective Monday morning, let's go with that. All cargo being loaded onto flights at last point of All cargo being loaded onto flights at last point of departure airports in 5 predominantly Muslim countries, which are Egypt, Jordan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, will be subject to new requirements. Those countries were chosen because of a demonstrated intent by terrorist groups to attack aviation from them. It is all intelligence-driven, says a TSA official. Last year, these countries were among those subject to the so-called laptop ban, if you will remember, that prohibited electronics larger than a cell phone to be carried on in the passenger cabin. Do you guys remember that going into effect? Mm-hmm. There are 6 airlines serving the U.S. from 7 airports are now required to comply with these air cargo advanced screening protocols. It is typically a voluntary program that provides the TSA and Customs and Border Protection with advanced information about all cargo those carriers plan to bring to the United States. And they are looking for anomalies, and one of the examples is someone spending $500 to ship a $100 printer that's already available in the U.S. from a country with terrorist activity through one of these 5 countries is an example of something that would kind of send up the red flags and warrant further inspection. So, do you feel safer knowing this is in play? I mean, I don't think any of us are traveling to or from any of these countries anytime soon. But here it is. And if these are just now going into effect, should they always be in effect?
I'm all down for, added and enhanced security and all sorts of protocols and measures being taken to ensure the safety of the people of this country. Mm-hmm. So anybody coming here that wants to do us harm, we need things like this to hopefully get in the way of that happening, or to impede something happening. So shout out to them, thumbs up to them for what they're doing and for the lives they could potentially be saving. Mm-hmm. And it's up to, the people on the ground to make sure it doesn't get past them if it's already here. Well,
yeah, way to go on keying in on the intelligence there. I mean, who knows what they're hearing, and I don't know. It makes me feel good and scared at the same time, I guess. The Trump administration is considering making all cargo bound for the U.S. subject to these rules. At least 70% of that cargo is moved by carriers who voluntarily comply, but the level of compliance can vary from country to country. Joy, you're being pretty quiet about this.
No, because I'm listening to you all, and I just want to let you know the media is just having a canary right now because the president's so quiet. He's missing in action.
So he gets all this attention when he's tweeting, and then he gets all this attention because he's not tweeting.
Because no one has yet to hear from him after the government opening back up. So
what do we need to hear from him?
Yeah, well, everybody's looking for him, and they can't find him.
What do we need? But I don't understand. Are we waiting to get a jab at Schumer or Pelosi?
I think we're just
one of those.
I think we're just waiting for like a Trump that's just like like I win.
No, I think he's probably doing something else. He's busy kind of focusing on other things.
Running a country.
Yeah, thank you.
Exactly.
That's it.
So, do we have any bets on what you think he's going to say something like, aha, I won, Joy?
Kind of like a victory speech, yeah. Hell yeah.
Chris, what do you think he's going to say?
Okay, so
that's what he's going to say.
Maybe he's out trying to find Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, there you go. Get a celebrity endorsement.
I mean, he probably could say this.
Together, we can rule the galaxy as far.
I mean,
it kind of sounded like his inauguration
speech. He's talking to Schumer about that. Join me, but he won't do it. He won't go for it. And again, I harken back to the 800,000 illegal immigrants that the Democrats are protecting to get their votes, so they keep winning when the elections come up. Mm-hmm. And you're sacrificing your servicemen and women, the national parks, the government workers who do an honest job, and all these things. And these jackasses still get paid. Pelosi still gets paid for saying, "Oh, I think the country needs a good shutdown." Screw you! Why don't you have your heart shut down? You evil witch! No, seriously, I'm sorry. She is pig vomit. She is absolute evil. And it's people like her that are getting in the way of progress. Shutdown. Whoever quoted that is a genius. So there.
No, what's going on with our wall? I thought our wall had something to do with this.
I don't know what's going on with the wall.
I thought that something had to.
I don't. I honestly do you just search the wall? You're gonna get Pink Floyd if you search.
Hell yeah.
But I don't know how that factored in, if it was part of the negotiations, or I don't know where we stand on the wall right now, because I feel like it's so back and forth. I searched wall, and the first thing that came up was how to whitewash a brick wall, which is very newsy. But then, of course, it's followed by Trump's wall. I don't know. Joy?
Yep.
Build the wall.
Build the wall. Is that your vote?
I mean, think about it for a second. Think about this concept.
I'm being mean.
I wish Drew was here or listening.
Oh, we'd have a good discussion.
When it comes to this, because there's already an existing structure that was there long before Trump came along, long before Obama came along, and the Bushes and the Clintons and everybody else. So all that he really wants to do is reinforce that existing structure to make people think twice about trying to get in here illegally, because that's what it's set up for to begin with. Okay. So it's just, he'd be enhancing the already existing thing that's there. You know what I'm saying? And again, my stance is making an electric fence because it'd be more fun to watch people climb over it.
Say why people feel the way they do.
I'm picturing it in my mind there.
I'm all for the wall, but I didn't, wasn't going with the electrified.
Have a little fun with it while you're there.
Make it an Olympic competition.
Yeah, put the music on, the circus music.
Every country has to protect their borders, period. It doesn't matter if you're the U.S., if you're any other country. You have to protect your borders, just as
any other country. Well, he keeps calling it a Great Wall. It reminds me of course, the Great Wall of China.
Why is the border with Canada never brought up? It's
because
always
I don't
the
think
Mexican side.
We don't have as many drugs coming in from Canada.
There's that, and I hope you're trying to make a point
have a
with
border
that.
up there, though.
But it's not as dangerous.
But it's not as dangerous.
But if bad people want to get in here, it's possible that they could go through Canada to get here.
Through Canada.
No, why not? Why not?
I mean, yeah, there's some, but let's talk about Mexico versus Canada.
I know, but if somebody wanted to get in here and do us harm or do something that they shouldn't do, they can't rule out the possibility that they could go through our northern neighbor to get here.
Well, sure they can, but I think Canada has their own policies of letting people into and out of their country.
Again, people are still coming in. So it just doesn't matter where they're coming from or what entry they're coming through. They are coming.
Yeah, but they're not coming by the masses like they are from Mexico. They're not jumping over. You know what I mean? Canadians, we don't have the same problem as far as immigrants coming from that border versus our southern border.
Right, but we have a border up there nonetheless.
Oh, we actually do. Yeah, absolutely, we do.
And we don't have a wall. I think there's just this endless ditch in between. I don't know if there's an actual wall or just a hole.
Well, some parts have a fence. Barbed wire fence. Some are patrolled 24/7.
The Canadians aren't taking all of our jobs.
That's true too.
I don't know.
I'm talking about people who want to do us harm.
But I mean, if we think about a wall being built realistically, it's going to take a lot of time. It's not going to just go up overnight. it's going to take a lot of funding.
Right. Well, we do have a wall now. That's,
an existing structure.
There's an existing structure there.
Well,
so it's going to be piece by piece by.
Some parts are heavily fortified and some are not.
Many, many miles of metal.
I don't know. Maybe they'll use bricks and cement.
Electric fence, baby. Electric fence.
Well, I'm looking at a picture of prototype border wall sections in near San Diego, Otay Mesa. This was from back in October, and they have just different ones set up. Like they're trying out different designs of what could work along the whole border and everything. So before we go to a break, Joy, did you have another question for us to play?
Sure.
Another game?
Sure.
Who's most likely to?
Who's most likely to need consulting before posting to Instagram?
Trump. Again. Oh, okay.
Instagram.
No, it's about...
So again, which one of us would need consulting before posting to Instagram?
This is Joy, because you just told me today that you just can't get into Instagram.
Right.
I can't get into it either.
You would need help figuring it out if you're going to
Seriously. But you too. You just got it, didn't you?
I've had it for a long time. I just don't use it.
Right. Is it like, okay, what's the issue with Instagram for you, Chris?
The whole purpose of it.
Right? Isn't that boring? I need to say stuff rather than post pictures.
Something. You can put a title to your picture.
It's just
pointless. What if you don't have a picture?
You have to post a picture. That's the whole point of that.
Right, but I don't want to.
Oh, my goodness. And Chris, you don't use it?
I have it. I just don't really understand how to use it.
Oh. Well, maybe you would need the coaching then.
What about the Twitter?
The Twitter.
What about the Twitter?
I've tried to use it. I still don't really know how to do it.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm working on my Twitter game.
Okay, well, we will be back in a few minutes, and we will have some sports updates from our own Chris Metal, who's very excited about a very big football game coming up in a couple weeks. What?
And we'll talk about it next.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Saturday.
Join me, Siobhan, every week for Day by Day Podcast. From Alzheimer's Awareness Month to International Bacon Day, find out what's happening this week and how these observances got started. Check out the show on Facebook or Twitter at Day by Day Podcast, because each day counts.
Day by day, by day.
Can you hear me? We are back on Now Trending. Yes. Hi. Joy, put on your headphones.
I'll just sit here and play with my headphones for a while.
Okay, but for some reason I can't hear me, but I will trust that I'm being recorded. Awesome. So we are back. Yesterday was a big day in sports, and tonight is going to be a big night for the WWE. Am I correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Same thing. I can't hear anybody, but go ahead.
Chris, can you see our levels?
The levels are rolling
all
all
right,
over the
as
place.
long as
The mics
that,
are on.
I
I
can hear
just
you.
keep forgetting what I'm doing over here.
Oh, hit this. You know what? The green thing. Hit the green wire and twist it around.
Oh, look at that. I can
You
hear
see?
you now.
It wasn't me at all.
No, it wasn't.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's good old-fashioned troubleshooting for you.
Look who knows what's going on around here.
Yeah. If only we could
Are
figure
you
out
serious?
YouTube Live. That is our next goal.
The YouTube?
What's up,
YouTube
Drew?
Live. The
YouTube?
Yes. And
The
we'll-
YouTube.
The YouTube.
So yesterday were the two playoffs, and the winners get almost all the marbles to go to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And all the marbles go to the person who wins the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. And Chris,
It feels like a door's opening to sports.
Chris, who's going to the Super Bowl?
It would be the Philadelphia Eagles and the New England Patriots.
Oh, you're supposed to say that with a lot more excitement, given that you're like
Given that
decked
you're
out.
in your Philadelphia Eagles gear.
No.
How about that?
Our Northeastern guy
It's
is
a
not
radio show, boys and girls.
not rooting for the Eagles by any stretch of the
I've never
imagination.
have. I think Philly has the worst fans in all of sports, in every sport, especially hockey, baseball, and football.
So you will not be rooting for the Eagles
Nor
in 2 weeks.
nor would I ever.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So give us a quick rundown of yesterday's games.
Yesterday's action feature, we'll talk about the first game, the AFC Conference Championship game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New England Patriots up in Foxborough Stadium, where I saw Metallica last year, by the way.
Right. Well,
Shout out to the Chris
I
Reynolds
know
radio show.
who Chris was rooting for. Joy,
Yes.
who were you rooting for yesterday in that game?
I rooted for football to be over for the season already.
Wrong answer.
It's because you had a rough fantasy football season.
I wasn't. Well, the household was going. Okay, of course, for the Jaguars in the first game because everybody hates the Patriots, but I like the Patriots. I've always been a Patriots fan. And then in the second game, it was a Vikings household.
No.
Oof.
And however, yeah,
Everybody moved.
Well, sorry, Chris, I was rooting for the Jaguars, mostly because the Patriots go every year. You want to see someone else have a chance at it.
No, not until somebody's better than them.
Yeah, well,
Thank
I
you.
was hoping they were a little bit better, and for half the game they were a little bit better. But
For the first half.
More people
Yeah.
would like them if they stop finagling their balls. I mean, what do you?
that
gonna
was
do?
years ago. That's
Over and
old
done with.
news. Old news. Old news.
But people still use it till today. It's like the
People
it's
do.
like the president.
People like you.
It's like the president. No, I don't because I like the Patriots. But I'm just saying these are the things that people will continually bring up
right.
Yep.
and have a hatred. That's where they real hatred started.
So, yeah, it's beyond pointless at this point because they could have beat the Colts with a beach ball that day.
Well, it's like the people say the Yankees. They still say the Yankees buy their championships. However,
Who
the Yankees
doesn't?
haven't won in since 2009. So how can you still
Who
make that
doesn't
argument?
buy
but the
championships? That's what
Patriots
it's
seem to
all
go to the
about.
Super Bowl almost every other year as well, though.
Because
too.
there's no
True.
team in the AFC better than them to go. Whether they win or not's another story.
Right.
They've gone 10. This will be their 10th time. They've lost 4 times in nine appearances. So they lose almost as much as they've won.
Okay.
There you go. And nobody knows what's going to happen in 2 weeks because the Eagles are very, very good. And I won't undercut. I didn't even undercut Jacksonville. I thought Jacksonville was going to take control of that game, and they did for most of it.
They did. They had the
But
lead.
unfortunately, the Patriots have to play the fourth quarter, and that's when everybody's hopes and dreams on the other side go down the crapper.
so
Plain and simple.
with Tom Brady's injury, how did he look?
Effective, but there's also a lot of other contributing factors to that game and the success. He has the fourth quarter drive. He got the 14 points, the 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. But you need stops from the defense. You need contributions from the other people on the offensive side. His kick has got to be on his game. You know, there's a lot of things that went into it. So, despite the giant gash on his right thumb of his throwing hand, he was effective. His numbers weren't Brady-like, but it was enough to get the job done. All you need to do is win. It matter 1 point, 50 points, it's still a win. So they won 24-20, and they were trailing almost the entire game. They opened with the opening drive field goal, but then Jacksonville took over after that. So they were in trouble from the get-go, and it took a couple of key plays and a couple of penalties that really turned that game around. So
will his hand be healed in 2 weeks?
Yes, because I don't think it's a factor anyway. I think it's like any of us getting a paper cut.
And what about Gronkowski and his injury?
He was took a blow to the head, and they put him through concussion protocol. He did not return. It was like a minute to go in the second quarter when that took place. So he should be ready for the Super Bowl. Can we say Super Bowl? I don't know if we can say Super Bowl, but we're going to say Super Bowl anyway. Super Bowl. He should be ready.
It's coming out of your pocket, Chris, so okay. Go for it.
Screw you, Roger Goodell. And he's going to be fine. But Brady has other weapons that he can use, and it's going to be all hands on deck because there is no tomorrow with this game. You don't have to save anybody for next week or whatever. This is it. This is what you play for. This is what they prepare for every single Sunday. So, like I said, all hands on deck. The best team's going to win, and that doesn't necessarily mean it could be New England because the Eagles are just as capable of winning this game. And who would have thunk it that Nick Foles threw for 300 and something yards and 3 touchdowns yesterday?
So as far as the Eagles and Vikings game, I went 0 for 2 yesterday. I also wanted to see the Vikings go to the Super Bowl in their hometown.
I thought the Vikings were going to put up more of a fight. I thought they were a better team all around, but I got to hand it to Case Keenum with his turnovers and that first interception on the drive right after they scored the opening touchdown. The Eagles, picked it off. They made the Eagles go 3 and out. They got the ball back, and then Case Keenum throws a pick six, and the Eagles are right back in the game. They're tied, and then 31 points later, unanswered points, the Eagles are your NFC champions. So the Vikings, from the get-go, had 3 turnovers, and I think the Eagles scored at least 17 or 21 points off of those turnovers.
Well, it was much more of a runaway game than the first game.
Yeah, because you didn't know how the Patriots game was going to end up because the teams were about as equal as you can get, and one team was playing from behind until it counted at the end. And the Eagles really were technically down by 7, just pulled away right in the first quarter, and that was it. The Vikings were so far in the rearview mirror, it wasn't even funny. They weren't worried about that. They didn't have the keep your foot on the pedal the kind of mentality when playing the rest of that game because the Vikings were playing so poorly. It's not like the Eagles had to play well to win that game, but they did.
They had to play well enough to win. Well,
again, the Vikings didn't show up, so you just had to go out there and go through the motions. Snap the ball, throw the ball, catch it, run, touchdown. That was the mantra for the Eagles yesterday. That will not happen in the Super Bowl. Can I say Super Bowl? Super Bowl.
You've already said it like 5 times. So.
Okay. So those games, one was exciting and one was, none of us saw that one coming. A lot of people thought it was going to be the other way around. Like the Patriots game was going to be a runaway and the Eagles-Vikings was going to be closer. And it didn't end up that way. And I'm not sure how Vegas did, but I know they probably cleaned up on one of the games. But it should be exciting and interesting the next 2 weeks with all the talk and all the social media and everything that's going on. His hand, this and that, the concussion, Team's got 2 weeks to heal. Everybody's going to be fine. This is what they play for.
Have the Patriots and the Eagles faced each other in the big game
Yes,
before?
they have.
When was the last time?
Super Bowl 38, I believe it was. 38 or 39.
Okay, and how did that one turn out? Do you know?
Unfortunately for the Eagles, they weren't able to, come back at the end. And
so it was a Patriots victory.
It was. It's really rough when your quarterback is throwing up in the huddle on the field of the Super Bowl.
Why was that?
Donovan McNabb just couldn't handle the nerves, That
reminds me of Ace Ventura. What do you know about pressure?
Laces out, Dan. So, it's one of those things. It's going to be an exciting game. This is Tom Brady's absolute best. He's coming prepared. He really is, and his hand will be fine.
And where will you be watching the game?
Almost anywhere. I most likely have to work the next morning, so I don't think I'll be going out to watch it. But I'll be at my house throwing my remote control around for the first couple of quarters until the Patriots actually start coming back. Just like last year when they were down 28-3. I threw pillows and remotes.
That helps.
They came back, but I don't contribute to my behavior. So this year, probably would do the same thing. I'll be at my house watching the game.
Are you one of those sports people that throws things when sports doesn't go your way? Do you scream and yell and act like a maniac?
I sometimes yell at the TV like, "What are you thinking?" Things like that, but like they can't hear you.
I know they can't hear you, but if there's people
last?
in your house, do you literally get up and scream?
No, I'm never that extreme.
Or like, have you ever, did you see the guy last night the Vikings fan who busted his coffee table? It was all over the internet. Like he's sitting there with his girlfriend, and once they lost, he stood up and they had a coffee table, and she's yelling. She's like, "It was my grandmother's coffee table."
Was this for real or a commercial?
Yeah, no, this was for real. Oh. That was a video that was posted after the game last night that went viral. And the guy, they're sitting in the living room, and it was like one of those old wooden tables with the glass top,
Antique,
tabletop.
most likely.
And he just goes and he takes something and just totally drives it through the freaking glass of the table. And she's just like, "Are you kidding me? That was my grandmother's."
Serious?
Yeah. But I know people like that. And I can't do that. By watching sports, how can it make you so emotional? How can it be such an effect that it causes so much stress
for some people,
for you at that moment to react?
For some people, and not me, but for some people like this jackass, this Vikings fan, and the Steeler fans that I saw doing the similar videos, throwing their remote control through the TV and things like that.
It's embarrassing.
It's like you can't replace that TV. That TV, you can't bring it back and be like, "Oh, sorry, I tossed the remote through after the game."
Right, for being stupid for a game you don't play.
And none of those players and coaches are going to be at your funeral. Let's keep that in mind.
Right.
Okay, so how much do you want to love them? How much do you really love them? So for some people, like for this guy, like I was saying, this is all they have. They don't have a loving family and a great job and a nice car and probably a great place to live. So this is all they have to embrace is sports. And when the game's over and when your team's eliminated, you have to wait 8 months. Like ask any Dolphin fan.
Right.
Okay, after December, they got to wait 8 months, Mike Hernandez, till it's time for, the preseason football. To get their fix and to get their injection of
There's
NFL
other
football.
Sports, though. They watch other sports, too.
My point is, when their team is finally eliminated,
right,
they have to wait for another 8 months,
right,
until they can get that feeling back again.
But is it that really an emotional
they
attachment?
Have to watch,
I don't understand.
But they have to watch a team that they hate now. Celebrate the glory of going on to the big game.
But why not watch something
Dolphin players normally play to go to the Pro Bowl, never the Super Bowl. Oh, can I say Super Bowl? You know what I mean? So,
will they take us to jail? Can I get a free vacation? I mean, is that where this is leading?
You're a free meal, like a sandwich and an apple.
Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl.
Maybe a juice box.
That's why the cops are always waiting downstairs.
They're waiting for you to say that word. So, if you're wondering, the Eagles have been to the Super Bowl twice already.
This will be their third time.
This is their third time. However, they have lost their first 2 Super Bowl appearances. So they are batting a 0. 0-0-0.
Right. It's their game to win. It really is. Because their fans are the most cocky and arrogant fans. And once they lose, then they're quiet. You know what I mean? But now they're going to be on the tallest soapbox in the land for the next 2 weeks.
And they're going to make it. It's going to be, again, a dog mask.
And
Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Everybody's going to, the whole stadium for them, whoever their fans are, everybody's going to be in dog masks.
Oh,
That's what we're looking at. I'm putting. Who wants to bet money on this?
Oh,
right
they
now?
will. They will have it.
We don't condone gambling on this show.
Even last night's game. Did you see all the dog masks?
Yeah.
So now, just wait for Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean,
Please stand clear of the doors.
Yeah.
I wish I made those masks. I wish I had a machine to make those masks.
Did you get any orders for them?
Huh?
Did you get any orders for them?
I haven't. No, I haven't. No, I don't. Because Amazon, you can't call and place orders. You can only.
No, but has anyone come across the computer? Have anybody buying them?
No, nobody's gotten a
Everyone's called you about one.
No one's gotten a dysfunctional dog mask yet.
Not yet. So yeah,
defective, not dysfunctional.
And your New England Patriots have made 10 appearances in the Super Bowl.
Well, this will be the 10th.
This will be their 10th. They have a 5-4 record.
Yes, and they.
So, what team has gone to the Super Bowl more? Not as out of all of
the
football,
Patriots.
Patriots all time,
right? Okay,
all time, yes,
10
because
times.
of this one.
10 times.
Well,
no. Before this one, even because.
Oh, okay, I didn't know the record was 8 or 9.
The record is 8 behind them, and there's a
49ers?
It's 3-way tie. No, not the 49ers.
Cowboys?
Broncos, Cowboys, and Steelers.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because the Steelers have 6, so they currently have the most crowns.
They have the most wins.
In
That's
football.
correct.
So the Patriots would, at the worst, tie this year if they win. So, but I mean, Brady will have 6, which is the most for one person, which I believe 5 is the most, which he has. So this could be 6 if they win. And I keep saying if they win because the Eagles are very good, and I'm not going to discount them, just like I didn't discount Jacksonville yesterday.
You're not going to be one of those cocky fans?
I can be as cocky as I want, but normally the cockier I am, the more it hits me back in the face come game day.
So you've learned.
Yeah, like when the Patriots were down here playing the Dolphins, I ran my mouth and look what happened. Mm-hmm. The Dolphins ended up winning that game, and they had that game in hand from the first quarter. I quickly had to silence my mouth, with the way that they were just, manhandling the Patriots in that game. So anything can happen with these games, but it's not over to the end of the fourth quarter. Till there's 3 zeros on the scoreboard on the game clock.
Gotcha.
And that's it. I think it's time for a card.
Well, I was going to ask you guys before we do the cards, what's going on tonight with WWE? You guys are both fans. I have no idea about
Super excited.
I'm trying to get her
this.
in. I'm trying to get her in. I invited her. She came to, what was the last pay-per-view?
Keep trying, Joy. So what's happening tonight?
We are celebrating 25 years of Monday Night Raw on WWE. And it's an epic program that began 25 years ago tonight. And it started at a little place in New York called the Manhattan Center. And they're going to be broadcasting from the Manhattan Center tonight in addition to Madison Square Garden. So they're going to have, I wouldn't say simulcast, but they're going to have they would go from one arena to the other and show things. And it really started out, it used to be called Primetime Wrestling on Monday nights. My sister and I were allowed to watch it from 8 to 9, or from 9 to 10. It was on from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. We were allowed to watch it till 10 o'clock. Then we had to go to bed because we had to go to school the next morning. So we couldn't watch the second half until we got home the next day. So we were recording it on the VCR, and we had to set the timer to stop at 11 o'clock.
Sorry, I got to burst your bubble here.
That's fine.
That
Most people do.
It first aired January 11th, 1993.
Okay.
So it's not quite exactly to the day, but close.
But being a Monday night.
Yeah, they're celebrating it.
I'm going to call it 25 years because it's a Monday.
Well, that's what they're celebrating. But, yes, a week and a half after the 25 years.
So they will have many, many celebrity guests on hand, both current and former superstars and people that we want to see. If one or two we don't necessarily want to see, but there should be many surprises and many just moments of reflection and amazing times to harken back to, the Attitude Era, which was WWE's best run they've ever had.
And have you been watching, sorry to interrupt you, but have you been watching these past couple of weeks?
I have, with the fast forward button ready.
Yeah. Really, but they've had great memories, though. They've had really great
memories
when they're showing
those
the past
things.
25 years.
When they show those things, it's awesome to have that. So that's fun to watch because I can remember where I was watching those Monday Night Raws back in the day. Mm-hmm. I was with friends up in Rhode Island back home, and we always used to get together and watch it because you didn't have DVR. You had to watch it or record it. Tape it with a VCR.
Yeah.
Know?
What's really cool too, once you get up on the Twitter, Chris, right? You can see but you know what? Even the old school wrestlers, they're all on the Twitter.
They are.
No, they are, and they love discussing this stuff. So they have all been hyped up for this event, even for Royal Rumble coming up, but even for 25 years of Raw tonight. Excuse me.
Does this happen live or is it pre-recorded?
Live.
And where is it happening from?
Madison Square Garden and the Manhattan Center.
Oh, but you have lots of old school retired wrestlers who will be in attendance. But they've actually, they've promoted and spoke about it a lot on Twitter. So it's just exciting to see even their feelings, because they're like no longer in the industry, but they still follow it, or they contributed somehow, some way to this historical moment. So it's exciting for everybody, Siobhan. You really should get involved.
But this is something
Come join our cult.
This is something you embrace as a kid, though.
You do, and I embraced it probably around the age of 7 or 8, and it was from my Uncle David up in New Jersey, or like they'd come down here, and he just always had it on the TV, and it was just a family thing, especially during vacations.
I'd say not a lot of little girls, I think, get into it.
Oh, no, at 9 years old, I got a wrestling ring.
Really?
My sister loved it growing up. We were all over it.
Man, I used to dress up. I have pictures. I'm going to bring pictures next
raising
week.
His hand?
No, I'm just
I
doing what I learned at school.
No, I have pictures with The Undertaker, because what we would...
Get out of here, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, we would go to Miami Arena. My mom would take me to Miami Arena. We'd get front row. I would dress like either The Undertaker or Scary Sherry. And then after, we would go to the Marriott. They all stayed at the Marriott. So we would go there and meet them. I was a teenager. But we would go there, get pictures, everything else like that. So next week, I'm bringing my stuff in
My
here.
sister and I met Sensational Sherry.
I love her.
In Providence one night.
I love her so much.
She was super nice.
I mean, she's passed away.
She was
Sherry Martell.
She was so nice to us. Mm-hmm. My sister was a huge Jimmy Hart fan.
Yeah.
She had a megaphone that she dialed up with the painted it white and put the hearts on and everything. She was carrying that at the show, so we went backstage. We got somebody we knew. And she was standing there. My mom took pictures and everything. She's playing with the megaphone, making all the noise, talking through it and everything. She's having a blast with us. The next time we went to see them in Providence at a house show, she's walking out with Macho Man, and she's by the ring. And my sister and I, we're really close. We're like 10 rows back, and we kept screaming, "Sherry! Sherry!" We were trying to get...
Remember me?
I didn't realize it as a kid that they don't break character.
No, not at all.
While they're out there. But she turned around a couple times looking, and we're like waving all nuts. And we didn't get a chance to go back the second time around. Mm-hmm. But, oh my God, it was so funny because I totally forget that. It's a house show. They're still putting a show on. They're still in character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My brother and my cousin got into it, but that was just not me. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what it was.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah,
some people just look at it like so stupid.
But for kids, you know what? I don't know. It just causes this excitement in kids, especially even when I go to the indie matches or even, we have our shows. And the little kids there, it sometimes just sitting there and watching the kids watch the match is just the coolest thing. Because these kids get into it and they start screaming and it's just
We did too.
Yeah, no, we did too. But it's just funny watching another generation do that and just the fun that they have, and it's so real to them, and it just it's just a magical thing.
My aunt,
it's magical.
My aunt used to watch the pay-per-views with my sister and I when we were kids.
Right.
And she knew it was a total joke and total act and everything was super fake. But she loved how, because we would have a couple of my friends that lived down the street, they would come over and watch it too. And she would see how nuts we all went, we're 10, 12, 13 years old, whatever it was. And, she just looked right through it, saw the fake bumps and just all the whole facade of everything.
Yeah.
But she saw how we enjoyed it, and that made it worthwhile.
That's it. That's what I mean, yeah.
So do you have another card for us, Joy?
Why not?
Who is most likely to watch WWE Raw tonight?
Who's most likely to run shirtless to show off their body?
Oh, jeez.
You have the better body out of all of us.
So you're saying I should be the one?
Yes, which one of us would run shirtless to show off the body?
If we were all drunk, it's a toss-up.
Oh, so now there's alcohol involved.
I don't care if I'm hammered drunk.
If you're
I'll take my shirt. Well, I was about to say something else. Something faced. So I would run around without a shirt on, after 1,000 beers. But out of the three of us right now, Siobhan would clearly win this one.
Siobhan, you win.
I'd probably have to vote for myself.
Do we have time for another one? Yes.
There would be alcohol involved for sure. Although, no, I'm not going to share that story. Never mind. Pick another card, Joy.
She's got these pre-selected too.
No, she doesn't. She's trying to choose one right now.
Because you know why? They all they go for all of us.
Oh.
Or they don't. Which one of us has never looked at porn?
We already did that one,
right?
You voted for me. I got that card. But I would run shirtless. I wouldn't look at porn, but I would run shirtless.
Which one of us will become a compulsive crossdresser?
Who's likely to become a compulsive crossdresser? I don't know. It's not a big deal when girls cross-dress.
I think Chris wants to wear a dress really bad.
Wrong. Even R2D2 says the same thing.
That wasn't a good card, Joy.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Luckily, we still have 35 seconds
All right.
to,
One more.
Which one of us would survive in the woods with just a hatchet?
Joy.
I vote myself.
I'm in.
Who are you voting? You're voting for yourself?
I would survive with just a
I
hatchet.
would survive.
You're voting
I was
for
a Boy
yourself?
Scout.
Well, I probably wouldn't.
I watch so much survival TV.
I don't know who to pick between the two of you. It's too much. I'm going to go with Chris. Sorry. Break that tie. He gets that card. And with that, we are headed to another break. And when we come back, we have some odd news and entertainment updates for you in movies.
Here on Now Trending.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Saturday.
Join me, Siobhan, every week for Day by Day Podcast. From Alzheimer's Awareness Month to International Bacon Day, find out what's happening this week and how these observances got started. Check out the show on Facebook or Twitter at Day by Day Podcast, because each day counts.
Day by day, by day.
Topping the box office this weekend. Number 3.
I'm gonna make you a deal. Give me the names of all the guys who got away. I'll get you a medic.
Hey, no snitch.
Yo.
He's done, son.
Den of Thieves with $15.3 million. Number 2.
We're outnumbered. 50,000 Taliban and Al-Qaeda fighters. We're on our own. I can't order anyone to do this.
12 Strong with $16.5 million. And number 1.
I'm an overweight middle-aged man. I don't have my Claritin, and all I see around here is pollen. Well, I don't have the top 2 feet of my body.
Damn, that is a man right there. Don't cry, don't cry. Don't cry, it's gonna be okay.
Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle with $20 million and $301 million overall. Opening this week.
No, I've killed everything that's walked or crawled. If you do it enough, you get used to it.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Hostiles. In 1892, a legendary army captain reluctantly agrees to escort a Cheyenne chief and his family through dangerous territory. Starring Scott Shepherd, Rosamund Pike, and Christian Bale.
Light It can travel for millions of years before finally reaching its destination. It goes lonely and alone, hoping that it will reach someone. The unknown is there for us to conquer, not to fear.
Please stand by. A young autistic woman runs away from her caregiver in an attempt to submit her manuscript to a Star Trek writing competition. Starring Dakota Fanning, Toni Collette, and Alice Eve. And we are back here on Now Trending. You can catch us on Now Trending live on Facebook and Twitter. How are you doing over there, Chris?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Awesome. So yeah. Okay. So, do you guys, any of you seen any of those movies recently? Jumanji has been on the #1 spot for 3 weeks now.
No. I haven't been to some movies forever, but has anyone heard of a thing called Movie Pass?
Yes, my friend uses it.
I've heard of it.
Isn't it just $10? Is it $10 a month and you have unlimited movies?
I don't know.
There we go. Here I am.
I had 2 on. I'm so
I
sorry.
know. It's all right.
Forgive me. I'm doing
We're
this.
working out the kinks.
What's up, Drew?
No, my friend does use the Movie Pass, and she loves it. She goes to a ton of movies now.
And it's just $10 a month.
I have no idea how it
supposedly
works.
it's $10 a month, and you get to go to so many movies per week. Or it's like one a day.
But they have restrictions on that stuff. You probably can't go to like a opening day on a Friday, something like that.
The people I know of, who, like I work with someone who has it, and that's
saying,
what
they might reduce it to middle of the week, or like a Friday afternoon instead of.
Well, it's only
night.
$10 a month, and you get so many movies per month. I mean, even $10 here, that more. I mean, you get your money back even on the first movie. Mm-hmm. A movie ticket here costs about $15.
Yeah, and then like if you have a drink or popcorn with it, then you're easily $20 or more.
Sneak all your food in.
Yeah.
But now I can really go for some movie theater popcorn.
Oh God. Uber Eats.
If it has a lot of butter, yeah.
Uber Eats.
Oh, my mom used to do that.
I love a lot of butter.
Oh, really? My mom.
I used to work at 2 movie theaters. You really don't want to know what's in that butter.
That's why it's like a once a year thing.
It'd be way too many carbs for you, Siobhan.
That's why it's a once a year thing.
I have some popcorn stories from working at the movie theater. They're kind of fun, but I can't really tell them on the air.
I don't know if I want to hear them.
Well,
I mean, they were cool for us and what we like to do in our recreational time, but I can't speak about it on the radio. I mean, on the air.
Yeah, well, real fast, it says Movie Pass gives you access to unlimited movies in theaters nationwide for a monthly fee.
I don't know.
I may just start going to the movies.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's $9.95 with no commitment per month.
Wow, cool.
There you go. You should try it.
Actually, it'd make a great gift.
Yeah.
For somebody.
Dropping hints. Somebody.
Somebody has a birthday
Asking
next.
for a friend.
I'm just saying. Go ahead, Siobhan.
Yes, so we have odd news. Take it away, Joy.
Odd news. Well, over in Philadelphia, workers are greasing light poles in a bid to prevent fans from climbing up them after the NFC Championship game last night. So officials say the grease should make the poles too slippery to climb. The workers applying the grease are jokingly calling themselves the Crisco Cops. The Philadelphia Eagles hosted the Minnesota Vikings.
No, I would have used like an outsider term for the greasers.
See?
Right?
Like what?
The greasers? Remember that?
Yes,
The outsiders?
The greasers, yeah. Yes,
I would have called them that.
Yeah, absolutely. They went with the Crisco Cops. So as we know, the Philadelphia Eagles hosted the Minnesota Vikings in the championship game last night. So obviously we know the winning team, which was the Eagles, earned a spot in the... Am I allowed to say it?
Chris will say it because he's going to pay all of our fines.
Yep, 5 cents to Roger Goodell.
Yeah, if only.
Yep.
You even get the rest of odd news today. Take it away, Siobhan.
Okay, so that's all you have to say. I think they went with Crisco Cops so they can get sponsorship.
I think also that they were looking in the event that they lost that game, people were going to climb up there and do things.
So in 2 weeks they'll do the same thing again, I suppose.
I wonder if they warned people. I wonder if they put out a warning like we're greasing the poles.
I hope
it's amazing that they have to let their citizens know because that's the citizens are and all respect to them because they're human. They're a little crazy, a little fanatical. Let's say whether they win, they're going to destroy the place. They lose, they're going to destroy the place. So, yeah, public officials and elected people in charge have to let them know beforehand, hey, if you do this, this is going to happen. So we're going to do this so you don't do that. So it's going to come to greasing things. It's just, again, it's a giant cluster F in the city of Philadelphia.
But it's like, sports.
They were running,
this is all about sports.
They were running ATVs up the stairs where the Rocky statue is. They were running quads up that thing last night.
Over sports.
Yes, over sports.
Over sports.
Okay.
Something they're not going to gain any money from, something they're not going to gain any type of intellectual knowledge from.
Mm-hmm.
Just trivia. Sports. So, I'm moving on for you. Okay. A Frenchman who drank excessive amounts of alcohol and then drove 17 times around a roundabout said he had not heard the sirens when police finally brought him to a halt.
Are you serious?
I would feel like he was really drunk and really dizzy.
That will never work.
Times, and the cops are chasing him.
That will never work when you roll down the window. I didn't hear any sirens. I didn't hear them.
It just makes me think, because do you remember the construction they were doing by my house? I don't know if you've seen, they put the roundabout. So everybody goes and we have to wait. So I'm just thinking of just driving around that roundabout 17 times with a cop car following by.
But wouldn't you, if you're driving in circles, you would see the backside of the cop cars that are chasing you. I
wonder how big of a roundabout we're talking about here.
Imagine these guys I wonder where they're going.
It's like the one in Young Circle. That's a pretty big one.
Right. Yeah. No. That's a pretty big roundabout. Okay, the one at Young Circle, but it goes back to the movie with the Griswolds, National Lampoon's Their Vacation when they went to England, and he kept going around They kept going around, and they kept running into Big Ben.
When he backed up the thing at Stonehenge, he hit the stone.
So believe it or not, this was not the first time that this 73-year-old had an offense of this type. I don't think his previous offenses involved driving around the roundabout, but he has had previous episodes of drunk driving.
That's not funny, but
and his driver's license has been confiscated. So, yes, don't do that. Don't drive drunk in a circle, because there's a lot of bad things that'll happen. You're up, Joy. What do you got?
Look, kids, Big Ben.
You don't have another Big Ben? What? Oh,
from the movie.
National Lampoons when he kept going by. He just kept driving in the roundabout, and he'd go by. Look, kids, Big Ben.
Leave it to Chevy Chase to that. That's the
best
role.
movies ever. I don't have any other stories.
You don't have another one? You had one highlighted last week that we never got to.
Today. I'm shotgun on this road trip.
Well, lucky for you, I have two more, so I'll pick up the slack for you. Also, across the sea in Russia, a man rammed an armored personnel carrier, or a tank, into a shop window before climbing through the rubble to steal a bottle of wine in a town in northern Russia, according to local media and video posted on social media. The man had swiped the vehicle from a privately run motorsport training ground nearby, drove it through a forest and into Apatiti, a small town just south of the Arctic Circle. Now, I got to think that if you're that far north near the Arctic Circle, there's not a whole lot going on up there.
And not a lot of liquor stores either.
Struggling to turn around in a narrow street, the man, who witnesses described as drunk, obviously, proceeded to slam the tank into the window of the family convenience store. He also crushed a Daewoo car parked nearby. Footage shared on social media showed them.
Still make the Daewoo?
I guess in northern Russia. Footage shared on social media showed the man subsequently exiting the vehicle through its hatch, briefly inspecting the damage, which I would imagine there's not a lot of damage to a armored personnel vehicle, and entering the shop through the broken window. He was later arrested in possession of said stolen bottle of wine. He only stole one bottle of wine.
All this for a bottle of wine.
You're trying to impress somebody.
In the Daewoo.
The shop
with the tank.
The shop was not licensed to sell alcohol this early in the morning, which may have led to him needing to take the wine by force. Yeah, so there you go. The man in his late 20s did not resist arrest, so smart decision for the 20-something-year-old.
I'm just in shock they still make the Daewoo.
Apparently, if you were looking for a Daewoo, head up to the Arctic Circle in Russia. You will find one. And liquor stores that are open very, very late, but can't sell you liquor. Okay, so also, I don't think this has anything to do with being drunk, however.
Boo.
How much Would you pay to buy a cup allegedly used by Elvis Presley? Allegedly, like there's no proof.
It doesn't come with a certificate of authenticity.
No.
Right?
Well, he and I have the same birthday.
That means
so...
nothing.
Really?
That means
yes, January 8th.
Absolutely nothing.
It does. We have a connection.
Does that mean you're going to buy the cup?
For $10, $15.
Okay. So a paper cup allegedly used by Elvis Presley 6 decades ago in Oklahoma is up for auction, and bids have already surpassed $1,700. It's being sold by North Carolina resident Wade Jones, a collector of all things Elvis. Then why is he selling it? He tells the Tulsa World that the crumpled blue and white Dixie cup...
I was going to say, it has to be a Dixie cup.
Yes. It was snagged by a fan in April of 1956 after Elvis performed at the Tulsa Fairgrounds Pavilion. Jones says the fan, a young woman named June, retrieved the cup the day after the performance, a day later, come on now, right before Elvis left town for a show in Oklahoma City. A letter accompanying the collector's item says June had asked to keep the cup as a little memento.
She know it was his.
Exactly. That's why it's alleged.
What about DNA?
Bids for the now yellowed and flattened paper cup surpassed, now up to $1,750 on eBay by Friday afternoon. You are bidding on an authentic Dixie cup. It's no doubt that it's a Dixie cup. The
little blue waves on the side
yes,
there?
exactly. That Elvis Presley drank from on April 19th, 1956 at 10:30 a.m. at the corner of 3rd and Boston in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So, you should look this up on eBay and see if it's still up there. Along with the cup and the box, it's been stored in since 1956. The winning bidder will receive a packet of photos and newspaper clippings documenting the excitement around Elvis's stop in Tulsa. The photos include several shots of Elvis holding a paper cup while talking to the press. Maybe the same one. Oh, but Jones says that's not the same cup. So, never mind. Elvis woke up the next morning, and I guess he had breakfast, and he went shopping for clothes, and that's when the cup was gotten. Very good English there by Jones, who told the Tulsa World. Jones says the auction closes, Sunday, so it may be over. Let's see what the final bid was. You don't see it?
I don't see it at all on here.
Oh. You have to look under...
I looked under Elvis Dixie Cup. I looked under...
We'll have to do an update on this later.
Somebody really bought that?
Oh, I'm sure. I am sure of it. So it reminds me of a story of when I was living in California and I went to a San Jose Sharks hockey game with my younger cousin and my parents. And Jeff Garcia of the 49ers was sitting a couple rows in front of us. And he was chewing gum, put his gum into a paper cup, and left. And my cousin ran down and retrieved the cup with the gum and kept it because he wanted to sell it on eBay. I don't think he ever did sell it, but...
I don't know who would buy that.
$3,000 is supposedly what the cup sold for.
It went for $3,000.
It went for $3,000.
And we don't even know for sure if Elvis used the Dixie cup.
Unbelievable.
Well, this person seems to think he did.
Anyway, so...
it was on eBay.
Are you serious?
I know you said it was.
Yeah.
But I see it.
Oh, there it is.
It's $3,300. Are you kidding
To who?
me?
Does it say who won it?
Bidding has ended. Seller was Howard.
Oh, that was
Robert
the seller.
Hughes.
Oh, well, there you go. That's odd news for this week. And Joy mentioned that she wanted a DNA test run on the Elvis cup. So that leads us to her. She wants to tell us about DNA. Joy.
I said, give me a hell yeah.
I'm just reading this bid on eBay. This is just like nuts.
Joy is like sucked into the eBay ad. And
look at the cups of him drink. I mean, look at the pictures.
But that's
of him
not
drinking.
the same one.
It's not. But it comes with a book about the cup. It comes with a notebook full of research that had been collected related to the events surrounding the cup.
That's
cup.
Amazing.
I'm guessing it's not the real
I
thing.
wonder if people get do you get memos for this? I mean, alerts. Like
maybe
hey.
you could have a setup on eBay an alert for Elvis items.
Yeah.
Why not?
But I wonder if his DNA would still be on that cup.
Oh, sure. Why
I
not?
don't know.
I don't know. You can only test it and find out.
I agree. So at least we have Chris here now. So we're going to get back into. We discussed this a little bit last year, but let's talk about these home DNA tests.
Not for finding out paternity, Chris.
Yeah. Not for finding out the baby's daddy, but just taking them for fun. A couple of weeks before Christmas, my mom gave me a DNA test, And she said, this isn't a Christmas gift. She's like, but I bought this for you.
I love your impersonation of your mom.
And I was like, wow. I was like, you trying to tell me something? Like, just tell me, like, if there's anything that I need to know. And she's like, no, she just, for fun. And especially if, she says something's for fun, I should really know then just to forget about it. And now I took the DNA test, and I'm sitting here anxiously awaiting the results. Like, I'm really actually nervous. Only because over the past, through friends and family, I found it was a first cousin who I knew nothing about, took one of these tests and found us. And then I have some friends who have taken these tests who have had family. Siobhan, haven't you had a similar circumstance?
Yes. Can I tell my story real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so yes, I have done an extensive amount of research into my family history and traced my family ancestry back to even before the Mayflower. I have several relatives who did come across on the Mayflower and other ships around the same time. So I've found a lot of interesting things, and I did an ancestry DNA test to kind of just confirm the research that I've done over the years, because the ancestry DNA test...
Are you serious?
...tells you, like, where your family origins are and, like, the different countries that you hail from. And by doing that, I put out my information, not my personal information, but just showing that, it would connect me to other people who do the test that share DNA with me as cousins or possible siblings, aunts, uncles, grandparents, so on. And I never in a million years expected that it would bring out a long-lost relative, and it did. I had a lady... Yes, I had a lady, a very nice lady from Panama, contact me shortly after I received my results, asking me if I knew her father or if I was related to her father, because we were linked on the Ancestry DNA as cousins. And the picture she showed me, sure enough, was my uncle. So, yeah, so, I mean, it's kind of been an interesting thing to find out that he had a past, apparently, and he has a child that he never told us about. He knew about it turns out, but he moved back to, I don't want to say ran away, but he did move back to the United States and raised another family. I don't know all the details of what happened in between. I'm sure there's a lot of circumstances. However, she did reach out to me. She never knew her father. Now she's in her 50s, and she wants to know her family, and I don't deny her that at all. So we've been getting to know each other, and there's a possibility we may be connecting and meeting each other in person in July in California. So something very exciting. She seems like a very sweet lady, and I enjoyed getting to know her and everything, but I had no idea that it would ever, doing that DNA test to just confirm my research, would bring out a new relative.
Same thing, right. And I same thing. It was a relative that found us, and it's a first cousin. My father's brother, we didn't know he had a child off, and it came about.
Yeah.
So, Chris, how do you feel about these new at-home DNA tests? I mean, do you know anyone who family has just popped up? Like, I mean, I'm seriously sitting here anxious. I should have my results any day now. But I don't want to have any extra brothers if I do, okay. I don't want my heritage DNA
Here's the
to
thing,
me.
though. How credible can we say these tests are? We can't discount them because they might actually be 100% accurate. But they might be somebody on the other side of the world jerking your chain around saying, oh, you're related to this one and you're related to that one. But in the case of Siobhan's uncle, you said?
Yes.
there's photographic evidence.
She had a photo, and she had some information.
That would make you think that maybe this test is for real.
Right, same as my
and
first
that you can
cousin.
find something out. Right. Now, at the same time, is it the same for everybody? Probably not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we both have had first cousins that have been found from uncles.
It's possible.
It's the same thing. Well, no, I mean, it has happened.
It's definitely possible. But also there's some people out there, and I'm not saying the two of you or your families, but there's people out there that will believe anything that's put in front of them.
Right.
So you have to really take caution, but in Siobhan's case, there's photographic evidence.
Right. Well, in my case, my uncle's admitted it. He finally came clean once
so
we found out a year ago.
I'm sure there's all circumstances, depending on what is discovered. Mm-hmm. So I haven't taken one yet. I don't really, it would be, you guys probably make my mind start thinking about it now. But I'm kind of attached to the family and friends that I have already.
Right.
And I wouldn't want someone coming up saying, oh, yeah, I'm your brother, or I'm this. And I'm like, well, I'm at the point in my life of turning 40 this year. I don't need a new family member right now, so I'm
like
good.
A brother or sister.
Where were
right?
you 25 years ago when I was watching G.I. Joe and Star Wars
what if
and
you
everything
find out
else?
your parents aren't your parents your whole life?
There's the flip of that where you could find out one of your siblings is not
I think it's everyone's conspiracy theory at one point in their childhood. Are these really my parents? Was I not switched?
Well, I was kind of afraid.
Dropped off by aliens or something like that, or gypsies.
When I did the test, I was, a little afraid that it might come back like you are not related to all this ancestry research you did.
Some people hope for that.
Well, I don't know, but you run the risk too of finding out that, I was adopted, or my brother's not really my brother, and there's some family secrets there.
Chris, were you raising your hand if you're sure?
No,
you look
he's
like
giving
the
us
old
the time.
I'm doing my produceritorial things.
It looked almost like the old commercials. Raise your hand if you're sure. Raise your hand. Remember those? I've heard the commercials for a long time.
I'm sure. I'm zestfully clean. I'm all these things. I'm letting everybody on the panel know that we now have 4 minutes.
Are you free of
I do have a container of them at my house, and I use them as directed.
You don't eat them?
Why? I got other things in the house that I can eat.
Supposedly in February, I mean, have you guys seen the memes going, which is supposedly a screenshot of Tide's Twitter, saying that as of February, because of all this, they're going to stop making Tide Pods?
Oh, really?
I know YouTube is stopping the videos. They're starting to block the
goodness.
videos of people using them.
That's
censorship.
I don't use the Tide Pods, but I use the ones for your washing, your dishwasher.
But really quickly, that's censorship. It really is. Because, I mean, those videos should be there for a public service message. What not to do if you're a stupid kid bored at home one day. Don't eat the pods because they might look like candy or some sort of treat or something like that.
Never in a million years would I mean, think about, back in our day, parents would wash your mouth out with soap. The last thing you wanted in your mouth was soap.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But kids are just going around just eating, like...
Did you ever eat a bar of Ivory soap?
Ugh.
Nah, it's not palatable at all.
It's like, no, yeah.
And you can't get that taste out of your mouth.
When you had to bite into it, like in a piece would get stuck in your teeth, and it's
well,
just like...
this is
all the way between your gums. And
Irish Spring, ooh.
That stupid cinnamon challenge where you eat a spoonful of cinnamon.
Or you inhale it or something like that.
Well, you can't eat it without inhaling it.
And
That's what happens.
The saltines, trying to eat like 6 of them in a minute. You get all dry and you can't swallow it because your mouth is just devoid of saliva.
Are these people who have nothing to do with their lives?
Stupid kids, and plain and simple, and I hate to say it, but these kids in this generation are way dumber than we were with the stuff that we tried compared to what they did. Because in my day, kids were doing...
You are sounding really old, Chris.
Because we're still alive. We're still alive. We did stupid things, but we lived to tell about it. We did whippets. We took...
I don't know what that is.
You know what a whippet is?
Whipped cream. You get a can of whipped cream, and you just inhale the
it's like nitrous?
Nitrous out of it.
Yeah.
And you get like this 5 to 10 second rush, and then it'll be over.
Oh.
Like I remember one of my roommates, I remember when whipped cream was buy one, get one free, because there were always 2 in the trash.
Oh, no, there was this chick on Live PD the other day that had a ton of the cartridges. She had a ton of the CO2 cartridges in her car. She worked at a restaurant, and she was stealing them by the case full, and she was riding around doing whippets, and the cops had pulled her over.
It's just a dumb way to get high for 2 seconds. It's so stupid, ridiculous.
Seconds. Yeah,
it doesn't last very long.
It messes up your brain cells.
Like if you're gonna get effed up, do acid. At least it's 8 hours of pleasure.
My cousin used to drink.
It'll make you think twice whether you want to do it again. And I don't condone it, but don't do the whippets, in other words, is my point. It's a waste of time and waste of a good can of whipped cream.
Yeah.
My cousin used to drink like a whole, what do you call them, little bottle thing of Banaka, because it had a lot of alcohol. She would get drunk off of one of those a day while she was like in middle school.
She had fresh breath, though.
I can't imagine how bad that would taste.
I've seen Banaka in a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So before we close out the show, Joy, do you have another card for us that you want to finish?
Or two. Sure.
I don't know.
Which one of us has sex while watching TV?
Currently or would?
or has done in the past. Loaded question. So we could ask it 3 different ways. So I suggest we do that to kill the show.
Define it, Joy.
Keep that card, but use it 3 different questions.
Has sex while watching TV. Well, in my case, you have to have sex first. I'm out of this question.
Well, for all three ways to word it, I'll vote for me.
I was going to say, I was going to vote for Siobhan. Siobhan doesn't like to sleep with the TV on.
Who's
No,
sleeping?
I have to fall asleep with the TV on.
Okay. Do you have sex while watching TV?
Have you or will
I've
you?
had it
And
on
do you?
in the background to kind of, mute whatever might be going on in the room. So, yes, I have, but we weren't watching it while
Well,
doing
it doesn't
it.
say anything about watching it.
It was just...
Oh, it does say
then
watching. Never mind.
How's about this?
We weren't watching it.
How about this? Which one of us is going straight to hell?
Oh, not me.
Me and Joy.
Aww.
You
I've
and
been working on my
Siobhan,
ways.
you and Drew are going to drop us off at the bus station. We're going to take the show there and simulcast with you up here in the, we're going to the dark side, but you're going to be up here in the light where the good people are.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah, Joy and I are on our way.
Why is he throwing you under the bus, Joy?
I'm not. She's going to be on the bus, not under it.
Aw. Well, with that, we have reached the end of the show.
We did
and
it.
I will pray for your souls.
Thank you. Please do.
Oh, my
Have a great week,
goodness.
everybody.
Yes, thank you. And we
Thank
will
you
see
for
you all.
everybody on my my first time trying this stuff.
Yes, thank you, Chris, for
Thanks for
being
stepping
producer
up.
today.
Good
job.
It's one of those things really weird, but it worked. So
See you next week.
there you
Bye-bye.
go.